All right, well, now here's my essay. I love buffets. I have for as long as I can remember. I know that they're gross. I understand that they're the best place to go if you want to eat a sneeze. I don't care. And I don't care that the food's not great. I'm not in it for quality. And I'm not actually in it for quantity either. I'm in it for variety. I'm in it for the feeling of possibility. When you walk in the door, look at all the stations and go, wow, they have rice pudding. I'm in it for the scouting round. No plate, just a spin around the different areas to get the lay of the land, imagining all the potential worlds for this meal. A world where you have 3 kinds of soup. A world where you try the sushi. A world where you don't fill up on the little pizza squares, so you'll have room for the soft serve. But let's be honest, you're going to fill up on the pizza squares and get soft serve, and then spend the evening with a stomach ache while you watch Paul Giamatti's disappointing 2011 wrestling film Win Win, which was neither as funny nor as heartfelt as the trailer made it seem. That's not universal, but something that happened to me, and I guess I wanted to share it. I love the first plate at a buffet, where I like to get a tiny portion of the things that look the tastiest to me, regardless of what their placement might normally be in the course of a sane meal. I think of it as a test drive for getting seconds. I recently took a photograph of my first plate from a trip to my favorite buffet, Bacchanal at Caesar's Palace in Las Vegas. That first plate contained 3 shrimp, some wagon wheel mac and cheese, cheddar mashed potatoes, a lemon, and a scoop of something red and green I cannot now identify, but could be a robust salsa or maybe corned beef hash. Needless to say, Bacchanal is a terrific buffet. But I don't just love the diamond tier buffets like Bacchanal. I love a mid-tier buffet. I love a college dining hall. I love the salad bar at Sizzler's, which has chicken fingers and spaghetti, rendering it a surprise buffet. After my husband and I got married, the first meal we went to when we got back to LA was dinner at a Sizzler's buffet. The next day we flew to Cancun to stay at an all-inclusive hotel, which is basically a buffet you can sleep at. There are some buffets I'm not crazy about. I could take or leave a Chinese buffet. And I think this is because my primary memory of going to a Chinese buffet is when I was a young teenager. And there was a period of time when after church on Sunday, our family would go to a local Chinese buffet called Family Buffet with a very old man named Joe Lerner. Joe was less than 5 feet tall, wore his military uniform to church, lived above the one nice Italian restaurant in town, and most notably was in love with my grandma, who he had met one time when she was visiting from Long Island. I don't know why this translated to my family taking him out to a buffet lunch on Sundays, but I didn't like it. It was the opposite of choice. I was bored, trapped, and frankly very concerned about getting started on my homework because it was Sunday and I was an exceedingly serious young person. I come from a buffet family, and most of the time we did better than Family Buffet. For a few years growing up, we had a Saturday morning tradition called the Breakfast Club, when my dad would take me and my brothers to breakfast so my mom could sleep. We almost always went to McDonald's. And when I was probably 10 or 11, something remarkable happened. McDonald's started doing a breakfast buffet. I remember it like a dream because it was both fantastic and seemed slightly wrong, like your front door being in your kitchen. But in my memory, this breakfast buffet was some pulled-together tables in the dining area of the McDonald's on Route 22. There were steaming metal trays of normal McDonald's breakfast items, but instead of being wrapped in paper or styrofoam, they were just laying out as though they were normal food. And you could have as much as you wanted, as many hotcakes, scrambled eggs, hash browns, sausage patties. There was only one rule at the McDonald's breakfast buffet. You could not serve yourself. I don't know why, but I do know that the old Russian woman who was always working the McDonald's breakfast buffet took that rule so seriously that she adopted what to us seemed like a catchphrase that my family would repeat like a favorite sitcom characters. Don't touch, I get it for you. For years we would say this to each other and laugh and laugh. Don't touch, I get it for you. It was so funny. But I should add that I watched very little television growing up. Mostly only the PBS show Ghostwriter, where a ghost helps children solve mysteries with spelling. My dad's friend from work would often meet us at the McDonald's breakfast buffet. His name was John, but for some reason, everybody called him Utmar. Utmar was a great addition to the breakfast club. He drove a Ford Explorer, and after breakfast, he would sometimes let us pick out something from his trunk. One time, I picked out a CD featuring a married folk duo called Lou and Peter Berryman. They played the accordion and sang songs about couples mishearing one another over the dinner table and their friend who's bad at bowling. I became obsessed with the Berrymans. So much so that one time my parents, Utmar and I, drove an hour to see them when they came to do a show at a community center in northern New Jersey. I had a blast. I think it's worth reminding you again, I didn't watch a lot of television. Another frequent activity after the McDonald's breakfast buffet was taking a trip down Route 22 to Beaucraft Amusement Park, a small theme park that had no good rides. There was the one where you sit on a swing and spin in a circle, and there might have been one of those pirate ships that swings up and down to simulate the feeling of falling out of a boat. But what I remember most about our Beaucraft trips is walking around the grounds in the heat of the summer, just looking at the different rides, thinking about what we might go on, living in the possibility of this buffet of underwhelming theme park experiences. It didn't so much matter that none of the options were great. In fact, it was actually better that none of the options were great because it took the pressure off choosing well. There was nothing to miss out on. The theme of the theme park was a world where the stakes are low so you can relax. For me, the stakes rarely feel low enough that I can relax. I've always taken my decisions very seriously. As a child, I decided for myself never to get an American Girl doll because I just didn't see how I could live with the consequences of choosing the wrong one. I'd like to say I've made progress, but one look at my search history would make anyone wonder, why did this person Google Future Tofu Press dishwasher safe 4 times in a row? The answer is just to make sure. To me, a buffet is a trip to the headspace I'd rather live in. A place where there's little pressure on decision-making, where you can try what you want without consequence, where you've already paid the price of admission. You've already made the most important choice, which is to show up. And now the world is your oyster. But I would never eat an oyster at a buffet. I like to have a little fun, but I'm not insane. Thank you.